I was looking at my list of goals for last year and realizing how, maybe they were a tad ambitious and I could have kind of planned my year out a little differently, like with a whole lot less things on the list and a whole lot more chances to succeed. So when I was thinking about what I wanted to do for 2021, I thought, I would really love to be the kind of artist who carried a sketchbook with her all the time, sat down and sketched every day, and then at the end of the year had 365 pages in a sketchbook and, some terrific art, maybe some not so terrific art, but 365 days of a practice. I can't do that. I know that. I know myself well enough to know that other than eat, drink, sleep, and brush my teeth, there probably aren't a whole lot of things that I can commit to doing every day and know that I'm going to follow through on them. I wish it was different, but this is the year of being real. It's not going to happen. So, I started to think, how can I do something? How can I pick something that will unite us in community because we're all kind of doing the same thing except it's different? And how can I set it up in such a way that I'm going to succeed, that you're going to succeed, that we're going to explore new things in art, that we're going to grow, that we're going to laugh, we're going to learn? And I thought, it's got to be something to do with nature. It's got to be something to do with the garden. Because you know how much I love everything out here in the garden. And if you've been watching my channel for a while, you might know that I'm a little bit obsessed with eco-dyeing, eco-printing, that method of taking leaves, putting them between sheets of paper or fabric, and waiting for the chemical reactions that happen with the tannin and other things you might put in the water, and steaming them or boiling them. And I promise you, in 2021, there's going to be a lot more eco-dyeing. But for now I needed something that I knew I could succeed at. And it wasn't going to be drawing because I'm not very good at it. And I want to practice and I want to get better, but I couldn't commit. My little manzanitas are just starting to bloom. How awesome is that? The hummingbirds are around. And so I thought, well, let's take it back to basics. Let's take a real simple thing and make it like a theme. Like when we make a journal, we might make a journal around Paris, or we might make one around vintage sewing. And if we're doing a painting, we have a subject. So for me, my subject for 2021, big surprise, is going to be leaves. It's going to be leaves. And it's not going to be a specific leaf, and it's not going to be doing the same thing with every leaf. Enunciate, Susan. But it's going to mean that when I sit down to do a piece of art, and it might be every day and it might not, but it's going to mean that my project for 2021 is to start with a leaf. And by start with that, I mean maybe I pick this big green fig leaf, and that's gorgeous and it prints beautifully, and maybe I do an eco print with that. Maybe I do a jelly print with that. Maybe I take the back of the leaf and cover it with ink and stamp it. Maybe I look at the holes in leaves. I love the decaying edges of leaves. And maybe, I don't know, what could I do? I could trace those. I could again stamp with those. I could look at the colors and be inspired by those. And it doesn't have to be a fancy leaf. This is a weed, oxalis. As soon as it blooms, I'm going to save up those yellow flowers and make a dye with it. That's a fennel frond, and there's some herbs. There's little tiny leaves from my mint, and there's great big leaves from my citrus and my privets. And there are healthy leaves from the nasturtiums, and there are more dead leaves. A dead oak leaf and a fresh oak leaf. So my project, and yours, should you decide to play along with me, is to make art in 2021 that starts with a leaf. Now, it doesn't mean I'm only going to play with leaves all year. It just means that's one of the things that I'm going to focus on, and that's the one thing I'm going to commit to, is to start with a leaf. So there will be a hashtag, Bet you can guess what it's going to be. Hashtag start with a leaf. And if you decide to play along, I hope that you will tag me in your Instagram posts or your YouTube videos. You can post your projects in my Facebook group. Look at the colors. And if you don't have a leaf, don't worry. I know in a lot of places right now, there might be snow and your leaves are off the trees and you don't have any leaves. Okay, go get a rubber stamp. Don't have a rubber stamp? That's okay. Get a magazine and cut a leaf out of a magazine. Get a digital kit. I've got a couple digital kits that have leaves on them. Fussy cut a leaf out of something. Oh, you can't do that? No problem. Draw one. Trace one. You can make it happen. You don't have to have a real leaf. What you gotta have is a real case of the Juanas, the Godawanas. If you have a case of the Godawanas to make art in 2021, I hope you will join me and start with a leaf. Let me see what you can do, and I will share what I come up with, and I will take you along on the journey with me. See you next time. Bye for now.